How English became the world's most powerful language, a historical and socio-cultural overview. But how did English attain this global dominance? The answer lies in a complex history of political, economic, from the rise of the British Empire to the influence of the United States as a superpower. Early development of the English language. These tribes spoke dialects of West Germanic, which gradually evolved into Old English. Old English was a combination of various Germanic dialects. Following the Norman conquest in 1066, the French-speaking Normans ruled England. This heavily altered Old English. By the 15th century, at this point, English was still a regional language confined to England and parts of the British Isles. However, the seeds of its future global dominance were being planted. The role of the British Empire. At its peak, in the 19th and early 20th centuries, the saying "the sun never sets on the British Empire" aptly described its vastness. Colonization and language imposition. British colonizers imposed their language on the people they ruled. This was particularly evident in India. In 1835, even after India gained independence in 1947, English remained one of its official languages. In Africa, English spread through British colonial territories like Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa. Similar to India, English became the language of government, education, and commerce. It remains a dominant or co-official language in many African nations today. The British also colonized parts of the Caribbean, the Industrial Revolution, and global trade. As British industry grew, so did its global trade networks. English-speaking merchants and industrialists conducted business around the world. The need for international communication in trade meant that Britain's naval dominance during this period also ensured that English became the maritime lingua franca. Ships and ports worldwide often used English for official communication, further entrenching its role in global trade. The rise of the United States and the spread of American English. After World War II, the US emerged as a superpower. American English began to spread across the world, often overtaking British English as the preferred form of the language. Hollywood and global media. The American film industry became the world's largest, and English-language films dominated global cinema. Popular culture, driven by American music, movies, and television, made English the language of entertainment. Moreover, with the advent of television, radio, and later, the Internet, global broadcasting companies like CNN, the BBC, the Internet, and technological dominance. In the early days of the Internet, most websites and digital content were created in English. Today, while the Internet has become more linguistically diverse, the dominance of English in technology is also reflected in programming languages. Many of the world's most popular programming languages, including Python, JavaScript, and C++, English as a global lingua franca. In an increasingly interconnected world, the need for a common language has become more critical than ever. English has filled that role in many sectors, including international business, diplomacy, science, and academia. Many multinational corporations, regardless of their country of origin, use English as their working language. For instance, companies like Airbus, Daimler AG. In global finance, English is the primary language used in international banking and trade. Major financial centers like New York City and London operate primarily in English, and it is the language of international treaties, contracts, and negotiations. Science and academia. Approximately 80% of scientific papers are published in English. Prestigious academic journals like Nature and The Lancet publish primarily in English, and it is the language of international academic conferences. The requirement for English proficiency in many academic institutions means that criticism and challenges. Critics argue that the spread of English has contributed to the erosion of local languages and cultures. In many parts of the world, English is seen as a symbol of colonialism and Western imperialism. Indigenous languages are often marginalized. Furthermore, the global emphasis on English can create barriers for non-English speakers. Access to opportunities in the modern world often depends on English proficiency. Conclusion. From its humble beginnings as a regional language in Britain, English has spread across the globe. The British Empire's expansion laid the foundation for English's global reach. Today, English serves as a bridge language in our increasingly interconnected world. As English continues to evolve and adapt, its role in shaping the future of global communication remains undeniable.